everybody, and welcome back to Lindsey's Little Library. So I have a fun little list for us today. Since we are approaching the end of November, somehow, I thought I would tell you some of the books that are coming out in December that I'm really excited for, and I haven't heard too much chatter about some of them, so I'm curious. So let's get started. Okay, first one, the first bunch come out December 6th, and then I have a December 13th, and then the 27th. So there's not a ton that comes out in December, which kind of makes sense, but so December 6th, first one we have is The Dressmakers of Prospect Heights by Kitty Zeldis. Really interesting historical fiction set in the 1920s in New York City, kind of during the Jazz Age. I'm loving that time period lately, really intrigued. So there's three very different women who are about to converge in unexpected ways. We have Beatrice, who recently moved to New York from New Orleans to establish a chic new dress shop, and she brought Alice with her, who is an orphan teenage ward of hers, so she brought her north with her. Down the block, we have newlywed Catherine is restless in her elegant brownstone, longing for a baby that she can't conceive. So Bea and Catherine now start becoming closer and becoming better friends and hanging out together. And Alice is starting to feel abandoned and very envious and ends up running away. Her departure sets into motion a series of events that will force each woman to confront the painful secrets of the past in order to move into the happier future she seeks. So we have multiple kind of settings for this too. We have bustling streets of 20th century New York City. We have late 19th century Russia and the lively quarters of New Orleans in the 1910s. And so that's what kind of drew me in, was how does this come together? What happens here? So I'm very interested in that. I do have a middle grade on this one, which is kind of a newer addition for me on this list. But as I've been reading with Max and as my girls have been just kind of reading more, I've just kind of opened my eyes, and I'm kind of here for it. So on December 6th, we have The Caravan at the Edge of Doom by Jim Beckett comes out, and this is the start of a new series, and I think Max is going to really like this. So we have, it says, when her grandparents explode in their caravan toilet late one night, 12-year-old Harley discovers a surprising truth. The toilet is a gateway to the land of the dead, and they are the guardians of it. Well, they were, but there's no time to mourn their passing because Harley's baby brother accidentally went with them to the land of the dead, and she has 24 hours to rescue him before they're trapped there forever. So kind of sounds fun, adventurous, something that they'll like. So that one's on my radar. December 6th is another book that comes out that I'm intrigued. I didn't find a whole lot of info about it, but I'm definitely intrigued. So this is The Loudness of Unsaid Things by Hildy Hinton. It's a story of loneliness, isolation, and finding your way. Heart-wrenching, wise, and wildly funny. The novel will make you kinder to those who are lost. So we have Miss K. She works at the Institute. I don't know what that is. It's a place for the damaged, the outliers, the not quite rights. Everyone has different strategies to deal with the residents. Some bark orders, some negotiate tirelessly. Miss K found that simply being herself was mostly the right thing to do. Then we have Susie, who is 7. She was 7 when she realized she'd had her fill of character building. Okay. She'd lie between her Holly Hobby sheets thinking how slowly birthdays came around and how quickly change happened. One minute her dad was saying that the family needed to move back to the city, and then shazam, they were there. Her mom didn't move to the new house with them, and Susie hated going to see her mom in the mind hospital. She never knew who her mom would be or who would be there. As the years passed, there were so many things Susie wanted to say but never could. Miss K will teach Susie that the loudness of unsaid things can be music, and together they will learn that living can be more than just surviving. Again, I'm intrigued. Another one that comes out on the 6th is Friends Don't Lie by Nell Pattison. This sounds very suspenseful, a little thriller, a little psychological thrillerish. So it says, my name is Isabella Butterworth. Your name is Isabella Butterworth. We're around the same age. We live in the same town, but your life is more exciting than mine, isn't it? Richer, dramatic, more fulfilling. Imagine if I'd never found out about you. But I have, because someone mistook me for you. And now I can't stop thinking about you because I know you're in trouble. You need my help, and I need a way to get to know you, to save you, to be you. Really? So, sounds interesting. Next one we have comes out December 13th, and this is called The Frequency of Us by Keith Stewart. Kind of loving this cover, kind of drew me in. And when this was described, there is time travel involved. Even though the synopsis doesn't mention it, it was notated that this is a book about time travel. So we have the Second World War. Young and naive wireless engineer Will meets Austrian refugee Elsa. She's sophisticated, witty, and worldly, and at last his life seems to make sense until soon after the newly married couple's home is bombed, and Will awakes with the wreckage to find himself alone. No one has heard of Elsa. They say he was never married. It's like she didn't exist. 70 years later, social worker Laura is battling her way out of depression and off medication. Her new case is a strange, isolated old man whose house hasn't changed since the war. A man who insists his wife vanished many, many years ago. Everyone thinks he's suffering from dementia, but Laura begins to suspect otherwise. So how does this work? Is this like Time Traveler's Wife? I don't know. Again, I'm intrigued. Next one we have also comes out December 13th. We have The Last House on the Cliff by Anne Wynne Clark. We have a secluded island, a missing child, and a family built on lies. When the 7-year-old daughter of a young widow unexpectedly vanishes, a dark family secret could hold the answers. When her Aunt Gwyn dies unexpectedly, Laurie returns once more to the childhood holiday home on the remote island of Anglesey in Wales. This time with her young daughter Ruby in tow. Laurie hasn't seen her aunt nor her cousins in years, but the beautiful coastal island and remaining family members offer solace and much needed a break. Soon Ruby begins to insist on an old woman that no one else has ever seen is playing with her. And Laurie herself experiences odd occurrences. The safe haven Laurie remembered feels like it's starting to turn on her. So I'm like, is this like ghostly? And then Ruby goes missing. Laurie finds herself digging into her family history to find her child, but the past is more deadly than she ever imagined. And will it be enough to bring Ruby back? Give me some drama. Be great. All right, and the last one I want to talk about comes out December 27th. It's The Lipstick Bureau by Michelle Gable. This one was just inspired by one of the few OSS female operatives, a World War II novel set at an office in Rome. So 1944, Rome, newlywed Nikki is recruited by a new American spy agency to establish a secret branch in Italy's capital. One of OSS's few female operatives abroad and multilingual, she's tasked with crafting fake stories and distributing propaganda to lower the morale of enemy soldiers. Despite limited resources, she and a scrappy team of artists, forgers, and others, now nicknamed the Lipstick Bureau, find success, forming a bond amid the cobblestone streets and storied villas of the newly liberated city. But her work is also a way to escape devastating truths about the family she left behind in Czechoslovakia and a future with her controlling American husband. As the war drags on and the pressure intensifies, Nikki begins to question the rules she's been instructed to follow, and her heart leads her in an unexpected direction. But one step out of line, one mistake could mean life or death. Loosely inspired by a real-life operative, Barbara Lowers. It's about a woman challenging convention and boundaries to help win a war no matter what the cost. So, very intrigued. Here for all of them. If you've heard of any of them, if you've happened to get an advanced copy of any of them and read them, let me know below which one stands out to you. I don't know. They're on my radar. So I have been getting lucky with books lately, and I will find them either on NetGalley or happen to come across them other ways. So it's kind of, I like doing this and seeing what's coming out. So let me know in comments below if any of these intrigue you. Otherwise, like and subscribe and all that fun stuff. And I'll see you next time. Bye.